Riaan Neveling, the success story that is my mate Riaan Neveling. From a South African point of view, you've done an amazing job heading up the marketing for street motorcycles, I think, over in KTM. So just give us a brief overview of what you actually do or what you actually tell other people to do within the company.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely privileged to be with this amazing company. So in 2019, I moved over to look after the street segment. Really learned a lot. Obviously from our time back in South Africa, at KTM South Africa, it was really a big learning curve, and then stepping over into Austria, looking after the street range, it was massive. And then just over a year and a half ago, got a pretty cool promotion to head up the entire KTM marketing for everything, so global marketing. And now currently we have 17 people in the team. Got dedicated people for each segment. So we've got someone for street, Gareth Davidson, ex-South African, Dieter Engelbrecht, another ex-South African, maybe a coincidence, I'm not sure. He's looking after the off-road segment, and then we've got an Italian guy, Giacomo Zappoli, looking after travel. But really cool bunch of guys, all come from a racing background. Because we just believe at KTM, obviously our slogan's ready to race, so the people should be as well. And then we've got a whole team that look after a brand, website, social media. We've got videographers, graphic designers. So a really good team. Thanks to them, we could put cool events like this together.
Yeah, we had a good chat with Gareth and just saying, this is fantastic work that you're all doing at head office, behind the scenes, and putting on a world launch like this is just, it's fantastic. You guys really can pat yourselves on the back for a job well done. Let's dive into some of the tricky questions that I'm gonna throw your way. 1390 Super Duke.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely love it. Fantastic, brilliant. Is it now getting to the point of, can you ride this bike on the street? I rode it today. Just put a fairing on the thing and sell it as a super bike. Yeah,
it's nuts. So, you got to spend a bit of time on the KTM 990 Duke as well. For sure, the 1390 is absolutely mental. We had a couple of guys approach us and, should you be scared to ride it? Hell yes, you should be, because it is really a beast now. But for those avid guys that want to go to racetrack and obviously do the breakfast run, going to hotties, bragging with their mates top speed, that's definitely the bike to have. 990 Duke is a little bit more, I don't want to say conservative, but it makes more sense for an all-rounder. Yeah, putting a fairing on a Super Duke, it's something that we've given a lot of thought. Obviously, when you start looking in sales figures for sports bikes, unfortunately, there's been a massive decline. And for us, if we want to compete in that segment, honestly, we can't do it with the V-twin. And to take away resources in R&D on the V-twin to start working on a 4-cylinder, it doesn't really make sense. The numbers don't add up, let's put it that way. And as you know, with our V-twin, we share that with quite a lot of platforms, so adventures, the bike segments as an example. So I would say for the next couple of years, you will definitely not see a 1390 in a Superbike trim.
Okay, unfortunately.
But I say 1390. Hint, hint.
1390, speaking of that, we've seen over the years the progression. 1290 Super Duke comes, then 1290 Super Duke GT, then 1290 Super Adventure. Can we be seeing the 1390 badge on other models?
Yeah, for sure. We spoke about it today, the progression of KTM, the evolution of the brand. This year is absolutely crazy for us in terms of products that we'll launch. I think we got an increase of 25% in products over last year. So definitely a couple more models to come with the 1390 cc engine in it. And you hinted towards GT. Keep your eyes out. Something cool's coming. I
can just hear the South Africans screaming all the way from South Africa to Spain with that news. They love it. KTM and the 1290 range in South Africa is just doing so well. Let's downgrade a little bit. 990. We got 10 minutes of good weather on it today before it snowed and rained and everything.
It was crazy.
But in that 10 minutes, that is just the perfect street Duke. Like I was talking about 1390 and 1290 before. I've loved 1290 because on a racetrack I've loved it. I could never really understand it on the road. It was just too much. And with roads, especially with speed cameras and laws and stuff, 990 just makes so much sense.
Total. Yeah, as I said, I don't want to say it's the sensible bike, but it kind of is. You know, you can still ride it like an absolute hooligan, you know, a bike that produces 123 horsepower. But you would have felt today the torque is really where it's at 103 Newton meters of torque. You know, we discussed it quite a bit in the presentation beforehand. You know, new chassis. It's always been an agile bike. So if you're talking about the 890 Duke R, for example, always been a very agile motorcycle. But really focusing on increasing the stability. That was really one of the development goals for the bike. And I must say it was pretty cool to see this whole progression of the development of the motorcycle, because the R&D and the PM team really didn't compromise at all. As I said in the presentation, no one would have thought, you know, that there's anything wrong if we use the 890 Duke R chassis. But they literally started with a clean sheet of paper and said, okay, if we want to build the ultimate street weapon, what do we do? And they literally started from scratch. So yeah, I mean, I think for South African market, you know, we were saying breakfast runs. This is the perfect bike for it. It's the perfect bike if you want to commute. It's the perfect bike if you want to go do track days. 100%. I mean, we rode it up those mountain roads. It felt like we were on the Isle of Man. Every time I looked in my rearview mirror, I saw you. So I started going faster and faster. So definitely, it's the perfect all-rounder. Yeah.
And it just lends itself to a lot more riding capabilities, I think. You know, Super Duke, we know a lot of people love it and buy it. To get the full capability out of it, you've got to be a Jeremy McWilliams.
Exactly.
But 990 now just lends itself to that average rider that wants to go get a Duke, wants the rawness, the rebelliousness, the maturity now is a word that we can use now with Super Duke and Duke. And the 990 lends itself to that wider range of riders.
Yeah, so whenever I get to ride the KTM 1390 Super Duke R, it's yeah, it just makes me giggle because it's so ridiculous. It's and I think that's the point of it. It's to, you know, not to scare people necessarily.
Just push boundaries.
Just exactly, and just get you to laugh and enjoy riding. You know, it takes obviously all sorts of motorcycles to please all sorts of people, and for some people that's what they need to get a kick out of it, and for others it's the 990 Duke. So yeah, I think overall we've got, with the three models, the 390, 990 and 1390, it's definitely it's a good mix, and exactly you can choose what's your use case, what do you want to use it for.
Fantastic job, Riaan. Keep up the great work. This world launch was fantastic. You and Gareth, your entire team, meeting all of them, just a fantastic blend of people. It really is so refreshing coming and sitting down with bikers behind the scene, putting on biking events. So keep up the great work. Us as South Africans, very proud of all you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, guys, thank you very much, and thanks for the support, and keep it up, guys, and we see you soon again.